Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. My battery went dead and I had to change it over to my memory card. So, what I want to make clear, please understand this, that this happened years ago. Wasn't even 18. I may have been in some of the racing situations. But can I just say, I'm not proud of it, but it was what I did in my teen years. And it's not only me, it's what the whole city did. And I just want to fit in. I wouldn't change my teen years for anything in the world. I'm glad I got to live. I was one of the dying breeds in the muscle cars, you know. And I had a great time because I used to love movies like Hollywood Nights. And was Tony Danza in that? I don't know if he was or not. Hollywood Nights was a big one. And that got me started too because my mom's boyfriend's into cars, my brother's into cars. And now we're watching Hollywood Nights. I remember watching that on Lafayette for some reason. I remember the album with the guy's hiney, you know, with him sticking his hiney out the door. So let me tell you something. Mooning was really big for our family because of the Hollywood Nights. For some reason. Was it the Hollywood Nights? I think it was. And I'll tell you what. It might not have been, but I do remember us driving around in my mom's boyfriend's car, the Roadrunner. And I remember throughout our life, even with my cousin, even into my truck driving career, I remember mooning people. Okay, that was a big deal. It was funny to us. Stick your hiney out the window and I'll blow the horn. Or I'll blow the horn. Did you ever moon anybody? For some reason that was always funny to us. Get their attention, blow the horn, make as much noise as you can, and then, hey, let me see if I can fix it. And then stick your butt out the window, would you, when we drive by down here? We do it at fast food places. Some people even tried to do it to cops, you know, not me. Some people did, and I don't recommend that you do that. But see, back in the day, we had a relationship with the local patrolman. Understand, these are cops that they would actually come up to Cummins Park and, you know, just check things out, make sure there is nothing serious going on, and they would talk to us. They would talk to us about the cars. You know, if they would be in town, it was not unheard of to be on 8th and Cumberland Street. There'd be cops in a car sitting there, you know, watching. If you get out, they knew. They wouldn't mind a couple chirps when you would take off. That way, there was so many cars. I mean, they couldn't get everybody, I guess, unless they got a huge police force. But the bottom line, a couple chirps here and there. You know, they know people want to have a good time. They're beeping the horn and stuff like that. And there'd be cops in a booth there in the corner. You could walk up, ask them absolutely anything. Or you could share with them what's going on. You know, if there's something more serious going on the other end of town, something happened with your car, they were there to help. Understand. Listen to my stories I share. These cops in London, Pennsylvania, they were there to help you. And they wanted you to have fun, but they wanted you to be respectful to them. And let's just say that most of us, of course, even myself, I played in a rock and roll band with one. So, you guys are awesome. Seriously, you have no idea. Thank goodness in my childhood, because I remember times of cops picking me up on my bicycle at night, taking me home. Taking me home. Not giving me any trouble, not harassing me. You know, you shouldn't be out here riding your bike. How old are you? You know, you should get home. Let me take you home. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's a standard or should be an expectation of our local policemen. But these are the kind of cops that patrolled our neighborhoods at that time, 90s, 80s, 70s. You know. It changes a lot for me as I get older. I don't know if it's for everyone, but it changed for me. So, if a London policeman or ex-policeman watches this video, you have no idea that even to this day, I'm 41, going to be 41 in October. I reflect back those times of growing up and into my teen years, heading into my early 20s. I remember, it's not forgotten how respectful you were to me and to my friends, to my city. And we were safe. We didn't have to worry about anything. A lot of times the cops would show up if it was certain people that started trouble or they were just getting out of control. Let me tell you, sometimes the cops, they knew who you were. They knew who you were. And let me tell you something, they would pull you aside and they would tell you, they would have kind of like a parent conversation with you. I'm not saying that should be expected. Again, I'm not saying this is the standard, but this is what it was like. And I remember how safe I felt. And I remember how excited I'd see when I would see these cops on 8th and Cumberland Street, and they'd say hi, and they'd wave to you. You know, and you get in your car, you park your car in front of them, no big deal. So they had things that they considered illegal and not legal, and sometimes they would show a little bit, hey, you know what, your tires are sticking out too far. Would you get fender flares on them or get skinnier tires? I mean, the bottom line is yes. And there was reasons now that I understand as an adult, but back then you're like, why can't I have my 50s on my car sticking outside the rail, outside the body? You know, you don't know these things, you know? Why? You understand, you know, things flying up and stuff like that. So I'm just going to stress one more time. The cops that we were raised around, you heard what I did. You know, I was bad. But let me tell you something, it wasn't just me. It was everybody with a muscle car. People came from other cities to come there. This was a main attraction. Main attraction. There was few places like that anywhere close to here. Maybe Pottstown was a place, a very well reputable place. If you ever seen any of them old movies, I'd suggest watching them. And this was the real deal. This was in my hometown. It was a place to be. There was rumor, I won't say the band's name, but there was rumor that a band from Pennsylvania would show up sometimes on their bicycles because it was that cool, you know? So, you know, sometimes you see their their motorcycles. You'd see them lined up at 8th and Cumberland Street. The cops didn't mind. They loved to see that. And there was rumors that there was different bands that were here. I won't say who, okay? Whether or not it was true, I don't know, but that was rumor. You know how guys talk. So, with that being said, can I just say, too, that when I was 17, before I was 18, when you get in trouble as a teenager growing up, things begin to change when you hit 18. Your 18th birthday, at that time, it stayed on your permanent record forever. As you see, it's permanent anyway, because I'm sharing with you my whole life story. I'm telling you my mess-ups, why I ended up doing the things I did, how sorry I am, how I took corrections to meet with people that I wronged and I wanted to make it right. I worked for the whole summer, whether it be my brother, my grandparents, or friends that I feel I double-crossed is what they would call it. You know, I wanted to make there was a season in my life I went back, and let me tell you something, I went to these junkyards, I went to all kinds of places apologizing, and by that time they were like, you know, it's really unnecessary. You know, they didn't say, my name was different at the time. Tracilyn, it's not really necessary for you to come back. You know, it happens, you know, and they would tell me stories of things that they've been through. You know, the owner of these junkyards, they would tell me that. It was amazing how wonderful people can be if you just gracefully come clean and say, look, I didn't want to do it. This is why I did it. And there was a lot of forgiveness, even with the cops, like I said, you know, doing things that we shouldn't have done, and I don't recommend anybody doing. Please understand that. But this was a relationship that people had in our city. It was a great city. London City is amazing, okay, at that time. So despite all the bullying that was going on for my childhood, here I am trying to make my way, and it gets better. Trust me, it gets a lot better. So I told you about the things. What I want to tell you is when I was 17, my favorite band in the whole world was Bon Jovi. And remember, I was talking earlier and I said, I go back in time when I hear a band and I want all of their music. Everything they ever recorded. I want to get all their memorabilia, everything I can get a hold of. Are you like that? Can I suggest, please don't be like that? I don't know, the bands might not want to hear that, but be careful of how deep you keep going back. And be careful with the position that you hold these people in. Okay? You don't want to be them. And I was guilty of that, wanting to be Richie Sambora for the longest time, or Bon Jovi, or I wanted to be John Cougar, or I wanted to be Joan Jett, or Lita Ford. I wanted to be everybody. What can I say? Bret Michaelson, you know. But I didn't really want to be them. I saw things in them that I was attracted to. So I wanted to be like them is what I realized, similar. I wanted some of their things. and it brought out some of the things. Cher with the long hair, you know, Savannah with the long blonde hair. I wanted blonde hair. I knew that, and I still to this day. And every time I color my hair, I think of Savannah. It's not because I want to be her, but she was an inspiration to me. I was seeing something in her that was within myself too. I'm going to get hopefully time to share that with you. Okay, we're attracted to things outside of ourselves. Okay, and we're putting together pieces of the puzzle throughout our life. Okay, right now I was using rock stars and stuff like that to try to be cool, and I was using cars to try to be cool and try to gain friends. That's all I wanted was friends, you know. But that's a horrible way to get friends, let me just say that. So, we're talking about cars. Remember I told you about the burnout? It wasn't too long after that. Now understand, I'm 17. At 18, at least at that time, once you do something illegal when you're 18 and older, can I just tell you that it stayed on what they called the permanent record. I always believed that it didn't matter what age you were, if you were 3 or 4, it's still going to be on your permanent record. For some reason, I always thought that. Is that true? Is it? Are you guys lying to us? I don't know. At least back in that day, that's what they said. So it was always a question amongst us friends, you know. But the bottom line is, because you do things that, you know, just silly stuff sometimes, you know. Is that on the record there? But here's the thing, check this out. When I was 17, that same cop that got me up at Coleman's Park, later on got me for shoplifting. Okay? I was not known to do shoplifting. Please don't. This was back in the day, too, where it was understood that these department stores started now having cameras and stuff. So this was not an easy thing. And can I tell you that being a teenager, trying to fit in, and the pure pressure of everything, and now you're not only taking things from people that you know, you start going into these department stores that it's a very uncomfortable feeling. Okay? I'm not going to say the place that it was. Can I just say that I did get to meet with the managers of the store after this? But the bottom line is I was with my first girlfriend. I'm going to tell you the story really quick. I already know there's cameras in their mannequins, you know, and that's what it said, and that the cameras kind of were their eyeballs kind of thing. So one of my friends, and I won't say which friend, but one of my friends at the time kind of was encouraging me. You want to get music, you want to get music. This is the way to do it. You know, it's like he wanted me to have things. Okay, he seemed to care. He wanted me to have things. You know, I couldn't afford things. And I admired him because he was really good at this stuff. And actually, it wasn't just him. It was a lot of different friends that were doing this. And I already made an apology to the actual store and stuff like this. And you'll find out here. Let me finish my story. So the thing is, I'm with my girlfriend that day, and I remember I did things with my friends, and I did it as a tag-along. I usually, like with the milk, I didn't take it. I was there with them, kind of looking out, like, we're going to get caught doing this. And I never wanted to do these things. But now I figured, is this going to be my way of life? Is this how I'm going to get things in life that I desire? I come from a poor family and stuff, and I'm tired of asking my mom for things she can't afford. I loved music, and I wanted music, and I wanted a Bon Jovi. It was, I think it was their second album, was it 7800 Fire Hydrant or something like that? I don't remember exactly, you know, but I think it was that album, and I wanted it so bad that I was with my girlfriend. She's doing other things, and I told her to just kind of do whatever, and she started getting really nervous, so much that they said they even saw it on camera. They showed me. They showed me the camera. So she's really nervous. She doesn't want me to do this. She's encouraging me not to. I want this Bon Jovi cassette. And I'm not laughing because I did it. I wanted it so bad. I wanted all Bon Jovi's music. And I'm phenomenal. I'm telling you this, the music just consumed me. It consumed me, it consumed me, it consumed me. My whole life, you'll find out, it tortured me. And I'll never forget when I was in the store, and I had it in my hand, and I'm double thinking, and I'm kind of walking by her, telling her to be cool. And I didn't want her to go out with me, so I went alone, and I put this Bon Jovi cassette. And I'll have to look it up. Is it 78? Let me look it up right now. Is it 7800, a fire hydrant? Let me see. I don't know. Bon Jovi over here in my my room. Hold on here. It's taking a while to load up as I'm doing this. So anyway, I put this into a big jacket that I had, and Bon Jovi 7800. Alright. Oh, they even have the tour and stuff online. Isn't that cool? Let me see if this is it. Let me look at the image. That was it. That was it. And to be honest with you, I didn't really care too much for the cover, but at that time, it was In and Out of Love. Okay, remember when I was talking about the last girl that I dated before I came out as a transsexual, and I told you she took me to Ocean City, Maryland? The reason why the beach connected with me so much is because I remember watching In and Out of Love Bon Jovi video when he's sitting in like a chair on the beach playing his guitar, and there's a girl that comes up playfully and kicks sand on him. Can I tell you something you guys already know, right? I wanted to be that girl kicking sand on John. So with that being said, when I first heard, the first song I ever heard by Bon Jovi was Shot to the Heart and You're to Blame, You Give Love a Bad Name. And when you hear that, to this day, I love to hear explosions, okay? And that had me jumping out of my seat, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding. At this time, I'm probably 15 or 13 or something like that, but I'm going crazy over this, okay? And the bottom line is, at that point, I wanted to know everything I possibly could. I'm watching MTV and all that other stuff that's on to see, what can I learn about this guy? You know, this group. Richie Sambora is what I wanted to be like, you know? And I love when they're kind of going together. They had this playful attitude, and I had that with my girlfriend. We could imitate videos together, and we kind of like how they kind of sway around, you know? We were doing stuff like that, okay? Imitating them. And I was still, even at that age, I wanted to go back into the history, and somewhere along the line, if it was behind the music or whatever, I saw In and Out of Love. When I saw In and Out of Love, I was like, so they have other music. That was a surprise to me. They have other music other than Slippery When Wet. So I saw the album somehow, because we didn't have the internet. Somehow I'm going through these cassettes and I'm like, I gotta have this. I gotta have this. And I wanted to hear that song so bad. So, therefore I gotta have it. And I asked her if she would wait. Just do whatever she's doing. And I put it in my jacket and I started walking out the door. Can I tell you? It was the scariest moment of my life at that time. And as I walked out, there was double doors. By the time I got out the double doors and my foot was right onto the parking lot, they got me. They got me. And can I tell you, I was glad. If you guys remember, whoever was there, if you come across this and you see, I was glad. It was time to get caught and stop doing the things that I was doing. It's not me. And that, when you hear a person's history, you start to wonder, are they like that now? Do they do stuff like that now? Can I tell you? Even if I was almost dead and I needed something that bad, if somebody wouldn't give it to me because I was begging for food or what have you, I would rather die. I don't want to take anything from anybody, ever again. From that point on, I never did. Never. So this thing, eventually what ended up happening is they took me upstairs, and they were nice guys. They were very nice to me. They laughed at me because it was a Bon Jovi cassette. And they sat me down, they had me wait for an officer. I'm getting really scared. I knew I was going to be 18 soon. So this is probably 21, 22, 23, 24 years ago, 23, 24 years ago. And when the cop came, it was the same cop who busted me in Comans Park. He was a big guy. Very well respected amongst all my friends, all the people that I knew. I was so scared. I didn't know what he was going to say, what was going to happen. Are they going to handcuff me? How are they going to treat me, kind of thing. And can I tell you, he sat down and he smiled. He said, now I know how you afford those tires for your car. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I started to cry. And I'll never forget that moment as long as I live. He had a sense of humor about it. The security guards had a sense of humor about it. He had to do what he had to do, and he told me, he said, this is a lot more serious than that, obviously, and what I had to do. He talked to me like he really cared. This cop talked to me like he cared. These cops cared for the people. When I stood up to get ready to leave, he said, you know, as I'm filling out this paperwork, he said, know that it's a good thing that you're 17 and not 18. He said, because it would be on your permanent record. And he had a long talk with me about this. And I didn't know what a permanent record was then, but I started to figure it out because I started talking to other people. You know, that's how silly I was. And I talked to other cops about it. I was very open about what I did and that I didn't want to do this stuff. And he told me not to worry, that it will be okay, but I need to stop doing what I'm doing, you know? That I need to talk to a parent, or I need to talk to somebody I can trust, that they're in town anytime. If I need a friend or somebody to talk to, I could talk to them, but don't ever do it. And I think at the time it was kind of a joke, because, you know, when he told me it could have been on my permanent record, I instantly held my head down low. I'll never forget, I put my head all the way down. I was so ashamed of myself. And I told the other guys, I started to cry. And I said, you know what? I didn't say it like that, but I told them, I said, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really sorry. And they asked me, they said, did you do this here before? And I said, yes, I did. But I didn't want to. And I won't anymore. That's exactly what I said. A life-changing moment. I remember walking, and I saw him a couple times after that in town. He may have pulled me over once or twice. And he would ask me, how are you coming along? And I told him better, much better. And he would often joke with me, you know, at that time, you know, couldn't have been like a Metallica CD or cassette. Couldn't have been like a Metallica or Megadeth. You know, it had to be a Bon Jovi. Yes, for me it had to be Bon Jovi. So I'm not proud of those moments. And I would ask you that if you're in that situation right now, stop. Stop before it gets too carried away. It's like my girlfriend really cared about me, like that cop cared about me. Obviously, those security guards were doing their job, but they cared. You know? They actually cared. They made it, they had a conversation with me. You are 17. You are going to be 18. You have to stop now. And if you remember, I started telling you, this is why I saved this one. This is why I got away from all of that. Permanent record. Oh, geez, I got to get jobs. I want to get other cars. I got all this. I don't mind paying, you know, speeding tickets and buying tires for the car, but number one, I don't want to go I don't want to have other serious consequences. And I don't want it on my permanent record that I can't get a job. That was my biggest thing. I want to get a job. Yeah, but you don't want to be on your permanent record. You don't want to go through life, trust me, and talk to other people who've been down that road once they hit 18 and things started happening. I was smart enough to realize, and I was telling you, my friend, after I got away, this was the reason why I got away from it. Never again. And this is the time that I started making amends of everything. The cop had a conversation with me. I had a conversation with the junkyard. I had a conversation with everybody. With everybody. It's time for Tracilyn to turn the leaf. Change the leaf. Turn the leaf over, if you will. I think that's right. Did I say that right? I hope so. That's a new leaf or something like that. Leave me a comment. Tell me what that comment is around here we used to say. It's time to turn over a leaf or something weird. So I'm not proud of that, but I'm thankful. I'm grateful those guys were there with me instead of some of the other situations that ended up happening in my life that had nothing to do with stealing. But that ended my stealing days. No more. No more shoplifting, no more stealing. And trust me, You might not want to trust me now, but I'm telling you, I am a person of integrity. I strive for that. You can trust me, even more so because of that. Okay? So, and if you don't, I'm sorry. You're missing out, because I'm an amazing personality. That's pretty much with the cars and job. I told you my friend, what I was trying to clear up is my friend ended up, somebody narked him out that was with him that got caught. And this is a big deal amongst brotherhood. You don't narc people out if you get in trouble. That's the way it was back then. You know, blood on blood, one-on-one kind of thing. And, you know, that was a big deal. When I found out that he did, I was so sorry for him because, I mean, just face it this way, in my eyes, he was way too talented at what he was doing for this to happen. I don't want to talk too much about it, but he totally changed his ways, you know, totally changed his ways, but it went to another level for him because we were getting older. So I got out of it just in time. Thank you. There's an energy source around me, around my head. I'm very grateful. There's angels protecting me. Put those old ways behind me and move on. What do you say? What about you? If you're watching this video and there's something that you want so bad that you're willing to shoplift or take a chance in taking from someone else, can I encourage you not to do that? And don't do it to be cool. Don't do it because your friends are doing it. Can I beg you? Do I need to get on my knees and beg you? Don't do it. It's not worth it. Other people start looking down on you because of it. Even your officer friends. Thank goodness he didn't. Thank goodness he still chummed around with me. And he wanted to make sure, are you trying? Are you trying to get your life together, Tracilyn? Yes. You need a ride back? You know, were you drinking tonight? We still had problems, other problems. He knew I was drinking. He knew I was doing other things. All the cops did. Okay. So I don't know. It's mind-blowing to me, the grace and the mercy I had around me. There was angels around me throughout my whole life. Probably, right? So, told you a little bit about the bar life now that we're talking about drinking. Can I just say, to end with the cars, that it was my biggest waste of money. I should have been putting it into guitars and music. Looking back now. And I should have been trying to just be myself with it, and that would have actually attracted the right friends for me. Cars. Yes, I love cars very much to this day. I'd still love to have a Demon, and I love the General Lee. But, you know, I can do without. I can't do without music. I can't do without this. I can't do without my guitar. Okay? Even though I'm not playing it so much right now because I've been focusing on this. It means everything to me. Guitars. My dream was to have a room filled with acoustic guitars. Why? Why? I don't know why. Just wanted a whole bunch of them. If I was going to collect anything anymore, that's what it would be. Guitars. And boots. And cat costumes. Oh. Ending it with cars. I could talk about that forever. I learned a lot with those cars. I learned a lot what not to do with those cars. My bar life started kicking up even before I was 21. You guys are going to think I'm horrible. Let me tell you something. Everybody did it back in the day. Everybody, you did it too. Okay? Please don't do it now. But back in the day, we drank. I drank even before I was in first grade. I was sitting on my mom's lap. She'd give me a sip. You know, give me a drag off her cigarette. I was drinking full bottles of anisette, half bottles of anisette. Tastes like black licorice, clear alcohol. I don't want to keep repeating myself. In the back seat of the Roadrunner, probably, you know, somewhere in that area. Probably before that, because it was actually red seats from what I remember, so it was white. It was in Jonestown, so this was before the Roadrunner years. But yes, I remember drinking a lot. Too much. And this carried into all my use. Smoking, everything. Just got increased more and more. My depression increased more and more and more and more and more and more. I was going to bars definitely by the time I was driving. Usually even when we go roller skating, which I'd love to talk about that sometime. We go roller skating. We would always get drunk before we went. On our bikes, we would stop at a local pizza shop and we would get 6-packs or coolers. I loved to drink coolers back in the day. I love flavored drinks, you know. Everybody would call me a sissy just because of that. Why? I don't like beer. I want to drink a cooler or wine, you know. Champagne. Now I don't drink that much at all. Hardly ever. Drink water. A lot of it, as you can see. So, started by the time I'm driving, we're definitely, even before then, but because on our bikes we'd be drunk riding around the city. I think that's what I asked us. Are you drinking? Walk that bike home. Walk that bike home. It was amazing. It's amazing. I'm very grateful. Thank goodness nothing ever happened to anybody. I'm just sharing with you what it was like. So for me as a kid growing up, the city's a lot busier now, a lot more traffic, you know, a lot more condensed population, heavier population. So my bar life it started early. And let me tell you, as I was a teenager driving, we went to bars, and we thought it was cool that we could get in the bars. And back in those days, they didn't really card. Now you know why they card. Because, I'm sorry, our generation might have messed it up for you guys a little bit. But, you know, they didn't card. So you go in, and if you could look mature enough and be mature enough, you got your 6-pack of beer, a couple 6-packs, you had it out. You went into a local distributor here. You didn't go to a local store to get it. You went to a distributor that sold only alcohol and cigarettes and some other minor sodas and stuff like that, drinks, you know. You went there and you loaded up your car with a couple cases and you went out to the mountains and everybody partied, had bonfires and stuff. That was a big thing as a teenager growing up. You saw the sunrise, we'd all be crashed outside, either in our cars, on the grass. We were crashed all over the place in the mountains, you know. And then usually you'd wake up to just a smoldering fire. A lot of good times there. I always felt like an outcast. Sometimes it was scary because there was tough guys mixed in, but it was always understood when we go to this party, there's no drama. Keep the drama down. And there was some drama, but no fighting. No fighting, no. This is where we come and have a good time. Celebrate life, sort of thing. So I still felt nervous, the nervous tension. And it was still understood that I better not get smart with anybody, you know. So I was always with the tough guys at that time. And I was always, you know what's weird is some of the bullies, I was attracted to. I don't know if they knew that. I'm telling you, I was. You know, I can't help it. And some of them, not all of them, some of them. I like tough guys, you know, but I didn't want to be abused. Big difference. I definitely don't want to be abused. I don't believe in that. At all. So, for any reason. There's other ways to deal with things. Talk it out. Work it out. So going to these parties, I'm attracted to guys. And but I'm hanging out with some of the coolest people. Got my car. I'm feeling horrible. And I'm drinking. Going, passing out. Wherever I pass out, who cares? Doesn't matter. Life doesn't matter anymore. Smoking, you know. Smoking and drinking. Feeling very negative about myself. And I started getting into bars, I told you. That's about when I started trying on different underwears. Yeah, that's a whole other subject, but I started trying. Remember I told you John Travolta inspired me to kind of want different colored underwear. I don't remember if it was Urban Cowboy, if it was Staying Alive in the beginning when he has black underwear on. I wanted different colored underwear. Then as I got older, especially as a teen years, I started working out. And I wanted to wear thongs so bad. So they started coming out with guys' thongs. I started getting catalogs with, you know, guys' underwears, all different kinds of stuff that I could wear. I told you I had Velcro buttons, all this other stuff. So I'm wearing this stuff and I'm trying not to be noticed by anybody. I wanted to kind of show. I was scared. Because guess what? That's a reason to beat me up, isn't it? Not anymore, it's not. And it wasn't back then. But people find reasons like that. You know, got your ear pierced, now you're wearing thongs, Tracilyn. What's wrong with you? Are you gay? Am I gay? Am I gay? Maybe. If that's what you want me to be, I'll be gay. But I'm a transsexual. Okay? I'm a transgendered lady. And I'll talk a whole lot about that sometime. So I'm starting to wear undergarments and starting to get clothing at this time that I'm starting to go to more bars. It wasn't uncommon for us to pull into a bar out in the country. Deep in the country was always easier than in the city. You go out to the country, only a few people there. They want your business. It's not a big deal because country folk are they just live down the road. At least at that time, that was a mentality. At that time, it was a mentality. I'm not going to say where we went, but we went to different places. And me and my cousin, my friends, we looked forward to doing this. This was a big deal. We, teenagers, driving our car to go get a beer like mom and dad's. You know, this is cool. And we listened to the jukebox. We had a good time, talked to the bartenders. We were always trying, we were making sure, they thought we were 21, and we thought we were 23 or whatever the deal was. And it wasn't cool. We played pool. I always lost. I'm not good at games. I told you that. I love to shoot darts. But I'm not good at games. It's no big deal now. Before I kind of hung my head in the sand because I wasn't good at games. You know, all these reasons. I can't do what a lot of other people do for whatever reason. So with that being said, here we are going in bars, and then as I got older, bars are bars. You know, I don't want to offend or hurt anybody, but you go there and listen to the jukebox. If there's DJs, you got dancing on the weekends, so you went to these hip places as I got older. Girls kind of hang together. That's the thing. They go to the bathroom together all the time. It was always a mystery as to why. I understand why. It's because we're talking about you guys. We're talking about you guys all the time. You know, and that was always a mystery at first to me because I wanted to go in with them and hang out. Makeup and all that other stuff, but I was too scared, you know, too scared at that time. And I wasn't transitioned. I'm transitioned. I legally transitioned, just so you know, from male to female. All the way down. I had what they call correction. It's a correction. It's not a change. Let's use right terminology. It's a correction. I always was. It's not that I wanted to become a woman. At these times, I'm thinking I want to be a woman. I didn't realize that I was. You're going to find out that it goes much deeper than a body part. Okay, I don't want to ride this right now, but just know that I wasn't aware of what I am now, and I transitioned and I changed, or no, I'm saying the wrong terminology. I corrected. As far into it as I could, down to where I went to courts, legal documents, my driver's license, my birth certificate, everything. Can I tell you, for the states that I've been to that are not being merciful and graceful to what they don't understand, or they do understand and they just want to be ignorant to it? It's a shame. It's a shame that you guys make it so hard, so challenging. We go through so much. We go through psychological evaluations, we go through medical treatment. Some of us pay a lot of money, do a lot of crazy things to get that money so that we could transition to make it body, mind, and soul. And then the last things that we have to do is correct our legal documents. And there are people that want to make it very challenging, so much that they refuse to do it. I'm sorry to all the girls. I live in Pennsylvania. I've been blessed. Remember, I told you the cops were always nice to me. Everybody was always sweet to me here. I got bullied a lot. Them bullies didn't understand that I was a girl, maybe, you know? We got a lot to talk about here. I'm just asking questions, maybe. But I want to let that go for now. I'm going to talk about that. Until you walk a person's shoes, especially having a life like a transgendered lady or a man or what have you, you're different, considerably socially different. How dare you make a joke out of them and make their life even more challenging? All we want is peace of mind. We just want to live our life. We just want, in my situation, I just want to be one of the girls and hang out. You know, there's issues with bathrooms, there's issues with using lockers, and what is the right thing to do? How can we make a balance of this? Let me tell you, when you hear my story, I can't wait to share that story of my transsexualism. You're hearing some of it now. It's a foundation. It's ugly. That's the way I felt my whole life, ugly about it. Not anymore. I love who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I realized I wasn't the problem. Society has been conditioned. The entertainment industry. I think it's time that in the entertainment industry we stop making fun of cross-dressers, transvestites, transsexuals. Okay? I think it's time to stop making fun of them. I'm going to say that very clearly. Entertainment industry, I think it's time you stop making fun of people. Okay? I don't know what the answer is. Sense of humor is good. But let's just say society gets conditioned when they see things on different television shows. And all of a sudden they embed that into their mind. And guess what? When they meet somebody in real life, what they perceived on television, if it's a big joke, then that person's a big joke. It's already too late. This person trying to live their life transsexual right here, already lost. Because it's embedded into the people's minds that we're nothing but a joke. We're crazy people. Times are changing. Thank goodness, times are changing. Religious leaders. All right, sticking in the laws of Christianity is what I studied under mainly, so we'll stick with that. Okay. Man shouldn't wear a dress. Okay, women's clothing. All right. Grace of Jesus. Let's focus on the grace. Let's teach people grace and stop teaching people laws that don't matter anyway. That's my opinion. You know better. Your teachings are destroying the lives of many other people. Girls like me get decapitated in other countries. Off with the head. In this country, beaten, killed, misunderstood. You're going to find out I had a lot of mistreatment from a lot of people. I don't want to say that now. I want to wait. We're not talking about that at this moment. Can I just encourage the entertainment industry as a whole? Maybe you're a comedian. I don't know what the answers are. Yes, let's have a sense of humor. Politicians, world leaders, state leaders. In my state, you can correct your birth certificate. It might not mean anything to you, but I assure you, a transsexual lady, she was born a girl. The doctor judged her body part and declared that this is, who said that? Who said that? Just like the name. Who gave me my name? I never liked my name. Okay? I chose my own name. It has more meaning to me. Okay? We're brought into a world, and I have this on other videos that I have. We're born into a world where we're told who we are. Okay? It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. It's that simple. Be careful of what you're saying and how you're treating a whole community of people, because I'll tell you right now, it breaks my heart, and the only reason I'm taking the time with you right now to share my life story is because I do care about other people. This is the best way I can help people. I'm not good with relationships. I've tried. I'm better this way on this side of your screen. You hear me say that a lot. It sickens me to turn on the internet or to turn on, reflecting back on television programs where they're just plain out making a disgrace out of the transsexual and LGBT community. Things are changing. Things are changing, and I'm grateful for that. Yes, I am a little bitter about that because I studied psychology and I understand what it's doing to the world at large. At large. Some people, all they do is watch television all day. I've done it for years. Be careful of what you watch. My encouragement would be to turn off the television set. Turn off the television set. Turn off the radio. I'm not saying to exclude yourself from everything. You love music. Be careful of how much you saturate yourself with it. Be careful when you go in and you sit and you become in an agreement with a church leader. Okay? Because they're giving your idea, not your idea, they're giving their own idea of what it is that they're teaching. It doesn't mean it's true. I know this upsets people. I know you might be hurting right now. Please give me a chance to share my life story. Be careful of how much you allow yourself to believe to be true. I would encourage all the states within the United States and other countries, stop having foolish rules protecting the original birth certificate. Just because a doctor said that from a body part that it's male or female doesn't mean that they ever were male or female. Okay? We can't find these things out until we start developing a little bit. You know? What is that child reaching out for more of? What is that child drawn to? How does that child want to dress? How does that child want to be perceived? Okay? A body part doesn't dictate. It doesn't dictate at all. And you'll find out as I get more into that. And I seem a little stressed out right now. I'm sorry. Things need to start changing. Things need to start changing. Proud to be an American. I guess it depends who you are sometimes. Okay? I love this country. I don't like some of the same things that I see my brothers and sisters going through. Things I had to go through. Anybody. Entertainment industry, be careful. Seriously. I love you guys. I just said how much I love a lot of these television shows and stuff. But it's not so funny when you see your favorite actor reflecting back and he's wearing a dress. And he's portraying a cross-dresser or a transvestite as being goofy. Okay? It's good to have a good sense of humor and be goofy. Make fun of yourself. But it also contaminates society. Because now we all have this image in our head. And whenever we get to meet one in person, we don't know how to treat them respectfully. Okay? I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. I'm saving this to share with you guys. It matters to me. It matters to me a lot. Okay? Because there's a lot of you out there right now that if it was being portrayed like it used to for you guys, you wouldn't like certain things, whether it's because of your religious faith or if it's because of your culture. You wouldn't like if the entertainment industry was portraying you like that, because you would realize that they are contaminating the conscious and awareness of everybody as a society within the society that is glued to the television and watching this stuff, seeing these images online, okay? And I'll get back more into that. I love you guys. I love everybody. I love everything. We're learning. We're all learning as we go. And right now we're talking about the bar life. So I just want to say that I went through my bar life and I was miserable. I thought I could go to these places, drink, hang out with everybody. Can I tell you something? I've been this time I want to get away from it. I don't know how to. I don't know how to. Everybody that I am hanging with, why is that? Why aren't I? Why isn't I? Why ain't I hanging with other people that aren't drinking? I love my friends. I love you guys. I love you a lot. I want to hang out with you. Let's go drinking. So the tradition was you work all day, you might drink. If you're a heavy, die-hard drinker, you drink every day after work. You drink all night. Or you wait till the weekend. Me, it started to increase to where it was Thursday, because I had a job. Remember I was telling you I was working at Fusion Coatings? I can tell you that. It was a great place to work. I have nothing bad to say about it. I love the people there. But I started drinking, I would work 4 days in a row, 10 hours a day. And then I would have the weekends off. Unless I volunteered to work on a Friday, then I usually wouldn't drink that much. Because I was anybody who knows me from there, remembers me, knows that I never missed a day. I wanted to go to work. I wanted the money, and I loved my job at that time. Not anymore. I wouldn't want to go back there, but maybe to visit to see, but I wouldn't want to work there now. I want to do my music and stuff. So with that being said, I would have off on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I would start drinking on Thursday already. And Friday would get heavier. Saturday really got heavy. And Sunday, especially when I lived with my mom for a season, now this is overall throughout the years, I would end up sleeping all day Sunday. All day, just watching television, watching movies with people making fun of my community, not knowing it at that time. Making it harder for me to ever want to be in public dressing the way I am now. And if you guys get to see some of my other videos and pictures you see, I'm not ashamed. I love who I am. I'm proud to be who I am. And I don't let that other stuff get to me so much, except for when I hear horrific stories that are going on even within this country. Recently there was a lady in New York, beautiful girl, and I don't want to talk a whole lot about this, but you know, she lost her life. She was a transsexual lady, beautiful. What the reasoning is, I don't know. Nobody should ever have to lose their life over these foolish things, a lot of foolish things that end up happening. A lot of times the actual killer, if I may say, just straight out, the actual killer would say that they had no idea that it was a transsexual lady. And that shock. The shock. Right? We don't want to walk around with a tattoo on our forehead. I don't know what the answer is. Let's try to figure this out together. We don't want to walk around with a tattoo on our forehead. And we don't want to be going to get a job with our IDs in opposition of who we are. We don't want to present our birth certificate in opposition of who we are. Okay? Because just because it says it was one thing doesn't mean it was printed accurately. And I'll tell you what, right now, I may just be Tracilyn, you're thinking, but a lot more people are starting to stand up and realize this. In the professions of psychology and medical science, they're starting to realize this. This isn't just within humans, this is also within nature. Okay? Understand, we had a mom and a dad. Humans, mom and dad. Mom and dad had mom and dad. Mom and dad had mom and dad. Mom and dad had mom and dad. And it goes on for centuries. Okay? Kind of like a drink. How much of whichever drink, if you have two different drinks, does it take before it becomes one or the other? Okay? I think about this stuff all the time. I have some cool ways of kind of helping you to better understand. We are both male and female. All of us. We're human. And we were born, as I've been sharing with you. We're male and female. We got masculine side and we got femininity. Which one's more dominant? Does it depend? Does it have to always be consistent? Can we be male today and be female tomorrow? Would get kind of confusion if that's what you want to be. I feel comfortable this way all the time. That's why I don't want to be a man. I do not, with what we have been raised and taught as far as male role, that's not me. I'm old-fashioned. Obviously, when I'm talking to you, you can see I'm old-fashioned. And personally, I'm seeking that maleness to, however, maybe it's in many relationships for me. Maybe I have a lot of male relationships. You know, and maybe I'm okay with that. I don't know, we'll get talking about that sometime. I'm going to say that for the adult channel, maybe. I don't know. I'll wear something sweet. My thigh-high boots. So with that being said, the bar scene's a bar scene, as far as I'm concerned. Throughout my 20s, I went to a lot. When I started driving truck, and it was made clear, this guy that I admired, who taught me how to drive truck at the school, I knew when he said time to go with the hair and professional look and stuff, he wanted me to do good. These people I met, they really wanted me to do good. I see that. I see that now, looking back. This guy wanted me to do good. You can make a good living out of Tracilyn and you can travel. He knew I wanted to travel. That was one of my dreams, was to travel. I wanted to travel, not on foot, not sleeping on the streets. Occasionally the car, I like to sleep in the car once in a while. Once in a while. I'm a hotel person, you know. I wanted to travel the world. Not in a truck, though. So, with this being said, and I say that a lot, don't I? That being said, I did that pretty dullantly into my 20s, mid-20s. By the time I was probably 27 or whatever, it started fizzling out when I got rigs into my life. I gotta admit that there were seasons, though, that I wanted to take off work as a truck driver a long time, because you didn't want that in blood. Now the laws are starting to be very strict with a truck. Again, I just assure you, I never had alcohol in my truck, and of course that's a huge responsibility. So you have to sleep. That's very important. Your diet, everything. Let me tell you, I have a great deal of respect for truck drivers because I drove not long like a lot of the other people. I dabbled in it back and forth a couple of times, so probably a total of 4 years of my life. I'd have to go back and make sure. But let me tell you, I had some challenging moments. Truck driving is something I could talk about for a very long time, and I know I could connect with a lot of the other truck drivers that way. I learned a lot being on the radio and with the laws, with the different laws. And one of them is it's a lot different in your in the alcohol tolerance. Basically, Don't even use alcohol with certain mouthwashes. You do not want to use either, because if they have alcohol, you want to use non-alcohol. My instructor was very strong, or very clear on, if I wanted to have a professional career in a truck driving industry, then there was a certain person of integrity and standard that I need to uphold. He helped me in so many ways. I love him. I love him a lot. He knows I didn't like the whole hair thing. I didn't like the whole hair thing. I didn't like it. I got my hair trimmed now a little bit. I fight with it. Sometimes I do kind of like it a little bit shorter. I guess it depends. I was a big fan of Marilyn Monroe. But I'm not saying I look like her, okay? I don't look like her. I was inspired by her spirit, as I was Michael Jackson and Elvis. You'll find out more about that later on. It's the spirit. The spirit. The spirit I'm after. The energy. The energy. I want the energy. So here we go. I said that again, didn't I? I'm sorry. I'm kind of tired. I've been doing this all day, and I want to catch up because I got a lot to talk about tomorrow. We're wrapping up here with the bar life and the cars. It was the same thing. Going drinking, going dancing. I told you about military men who I love greatly. That was my isolated, situation. Never happened after that. Never had any problems. I started flirting with them more as I got older and I came out. So, and that's privately. I have nothing to say with who or what. But I'm still attracted very much to men in uniform. And rock and rollers, of course, especially older ones. So, the only drug, I'm going to tell you right now, I dabbled in some drugs throughout my life. I was the kind of person who wanted to try everything. Never tried anything with needles. Never no needles. I knew people who did. That was scary enough for me. So I'm going to be honest, I'm going to talk openly. I never did heroin. Never did heroin that I'm aware of. It was not in anything of mine. And I never did crack. Is it funny that I would say that? Never did. Never smoked crack, or I don't even know how it's done. All I knew is that I seen people smoke it already, and I'll tell you what, I never wanted to do that. My what they say is not a drug anyway, and they're starting to legalize it more. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Is marijuana. You're starting to see that they're coming out prescribed, medically prescribed. And I say it's about time for change. You know, I know there's some other people out there that are more passionate about it. They have an understanding. I don't want to get started on what should be legalized and what shouldn't be legalized and stuff like that. But let's just say, let's applaud. Let's applaud America. They're standing up and they're starting to realize. So let us see more acceptance. Because a lot of people say this is not a drug. Okay? I don't want to dispute that here. If you want to make a couple comments, feel free to do that. You know, put in your two thoughts here. But this is a place where I'm sharing my life story. And we had alcohol. Marijuana was introduced to me at birth, just about. I'm not saying, I don't remember. I remember just very little bits, maybe on my father's hood side in my younger years. I'm not saying now. I'm not saying anybody does anything now. I don't do anything now. I don't. I drink water. You know what I mean? Drink water. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes I will smoke a cigarette because I get stressed out. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But here's the thing. Marijuana was introduced to me at a very young age from many sources, not just one.